So, little peckerhead didn't do it. No surprise. No surprise.
Mm-hmm. I mean, is this his idea of teaching YouTube a lesson by deleting a secondary backup channel that no one gives a fuck about? I mean, I know they say that you shouldn't burn bridges, especially when you're as small and insignificant as us, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Hashtag PewDieCuck.
I'm not sure if that's the exact Unopolis definition of cuck.
Yeah, but at the same time, what he has just done is he's demonstrated to everyone that he is pretty much the bottom bitch. He is being pegged by YouTube. They're the ones calling the shots. Because for almost an entire week, he had them by the balls.
Mm-hmm.
And then he decides to chicken out at the very last second, and now, once again, they have all the cards.
Mm-hmm. Well, to be fair, I don't think when he originally said that he was going to delete his channel, it's clear from his, second video where he actually did delete his second channel that he didn't think that this was going to get that big.
Boo fucking who? Why the hell did he make the first video in the first place? He announces that he's gonna quit. He portrays himself as some sort of 21st century Robespierre, that he's gonna lead the revolution against the YouTube aristocracy, and then he decides to chicken out. Tee bros! I was just messing with you.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, as soon as he hit 50 million subscribers and then posted that video, he started losing subscribers like crazy.
Well, yeah, those are all the people who are the hopefuls.
Yeah, they were the ones who showed up to see him commit suicide, and then he didn't, and now they want their money back, myself included.
I mean, I definitely don't hate the guy. Yeah, I don't really necessarily hate his show, but
I do. I want 4 days of my life back that I spent putting this video together.
4 days of editing, 4 days of balls to the walls editing, doing something that would usually take about 2 weeks to do, all in like the span of 4 or 5 days. Yes, and poor Katie got burned out too. But
trying to get the video finished in time before the 5 o'clock deadline, but then getting confused by the timelines and posting it late anyway.
You're not helping, you know.
There's reason why you're not in the banner yet. But seriously though, I would have had a lot more respect if he actually did do it. I mean, he talks it up, and again, I'm not like a fan of his, but I don't hate him. I don't necessarily even hate his channel, but I just would have had so much more respect if he was the bigger man, and he basically led the whole entire, you know what, fuck you guys, I'm done, kind of revolution, where even if he took his stuff over to Vivo or even, I guess, Facebook, I kept on thinking that Mark Zuckerberg picture in his profile was maybe he was colluding with Facebook, and Facebook has its own new video thing to compete with YouTube. I thought he was going to pack his shit up and go.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have had a lot more respect if he would have done that. Again, like I told Max, I can appreciate a good troll. I can appreciate, everyone getting pissed. I can appreciate the chaos, especially, with YouTube and bringing more attention to, like, I guess even Forbes and some of these other magazines had like articles about PewDiePie quitting YouTube, so it did get the word out. But again, he backed out of his threat, and that means that YouTube won.
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, as far as trolling goes, again, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I didn't take his threat seriously, but what exactly has he accomplished with all of this? A couple of lows, and that's about it. All the integrity, well, not even integrity, all the clout that he had in YouTube's eyes. Like, he was the big star, the big shot. He's the one who can knock down their door and walk in with their bitches, and everyone has seen the visual skit, so you know what I'm talking about. All of that is gone, because YouTube knows that right now, as of this moment, he is basically all bark and no bite. Because if in the future, YouTube decides to pull off something truly nefarious, something despicable, like more stringent copyright laws, or YouTube Heroes becomes the norm, or becomes even worse, I suppose. Because one thing I saw, speaking of Facebook, by the way, recently, in response to a bunch of social justice warrior Tina Tamburina types, they basically stormed, well, didn't physically storm, but nevertheless, they stormed Facebook, accusing the heads of Facebook of not doing enough to suppress Donald Trump's propaganda. They were basically accusing Facebook of letting him win. And in response to all of this, as opposed to Facebook remaining neutral and saying that, hey, wait a second, we're just a social media platform, not the Ministry of Truth, a 1984 reference there for you. Instead, what Mark Zuckerberg did, or as I prefer to call him, Zuck the Cuck, he pretty much caved in.
Zuckerberg.
Yeah, he pretty much caved in and made all sorts of promises that from here on out they're gonna hire some third-party software or company to monitor the kind of news that appear on Facebook. So basically, he is willing to introduce a YouTube Heroes version for Facebook in order to crack down on, I don't know, some alt-right or far-right content. So if YouTube decides to do something like that, if they're gonna ban anyone who is remotely, say, pro-Trump or just to the right of the current progressive left movement, then how the hell are YouTubers, YouTube content creators, supposed to voice their grievances? Basically, if PewDiePie decides to threaten to quit again, they're just gonna call his bluff. He no longer has the cachet in order to pull off a coup d'etat like that.
Yeah, unless again he rallies the troops and everybody, like the top 20% of the actual YouTubers, decide to pack their shit up and diversify. Not even take their stuff off YouTube. They just got to diversify it somewhere else.
This is something I've noticed, is that a lot of big YouTubers are complaining about YouTube and their problems, but not actually doing
But they're not doing anything about it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Basically, acta non verba. Actions speak louder than words.
Yes.
Well, the thing is, in the case of YouTube, I've seen a lot of people leave comments like this saying that, did you guys really think that he was gonna quit? And, well, first of all, assholes, with the benefit of hindsight, anyone can be a Nostradamus. But, to be fair, when I first heard that he was gonna quit his YouTube channel, I remember telling this to you, Matt, that basically, come on, 50 million subscribers,
Yeah.
$4 million of yearly income, my fucking ass, he's going anywhere. But this is the problem.
Yeah, you wouldn't throw away that kind of fucking money over, oh, I only got 2 million views on a video, boo-hoo-hoo.
So this right here is the problem. The fact that most of the, what you would consider to be the YouTube elite, at the very least the ones who are actual content creators and not corporate-owned Vivo channels, they are basically sitting pretty comfortably, getting their paychecks every single month, releasing their flippant mental junk food content, and they couldn't care less about freedom of speech or creative freedom or any other abstract principle like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken to people who know PewDiePie, and, you know, they all say the same thing. He's, in real life, he's really shy, and, you know, he's a really nice guy. I don't think he would have the guts to do something like this, to make a stand like this, because he's not exactly a martyr.
See, the problem is, nice guys don't accomplish anything. And even if he doesn't behave the same way that he does in his videos, nevertheless, if a coup d'etat like that were to be pulled off, we need a very intrepid, very fierce general type. An Alexander the Great type, not Bozo the fucking Clown, which is basically what PewDiePie is.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad that, I mean, Great Andre would probably be perfect for that, to be honest.
But the thing is you're asking all these people who are currently on the YouTube tit to, you know, basically bite the hand that feeds, or in this case, bite the tit. So as much as we want somebody who's, you know, high enough up there where they can actually make a legitimate change and push for, you know, push for people to migrate their content, maybe the money's just too good. I mean, obviously there's no other viable entity out there where they could, you know, pick up the ball and keep on moving, but
You could create it, though.
possibly.
With enough determination and discipline, you could do it.
But you need someone to back it, though, like Facebook, someone who has deep pockets, because again, you know, YouTube, they made $4 billion last year and they still didn't make a profit. You need some massive entity to, like, you know, Microsoft or Apple or Facebook or something like that to pitch in. Shit, NASA, I don't know, whoever the fuck has money.
You say that, but didn't all of these companies, Google, Facebook, YouTube, didn't they at one point start with nothing? They were complete nobodies, and yet somehow...
Well, let's take a look at like something like DuckDuckGo, one of the competitors I liked for Google. Started off very, very small, and then they make, a name for themselves. And of course, they caught the wave of the whole Edward Snowden privacy issue because they were offering, they were offering a more private search engine. And then they start growing, and, word started spreading, articles were posted about them, and then they started getting money from other organizations because obviously I see very little in the way of advertising for DuckDuckGo. They basically live a small team that gets a lot of funding from like Mozilla and the EFF and some other groups. So you have to have the pockets. You have to have somebody funding this enterprise, and even then, there's no guarantee that it's going to be a success.
Yeah, but so you could look at Wikipedia. They're always asking for donations and stuff, saying that they need more money, and that's been around since God knows when, and loads of people use that.
Yeah.
And you could also say it's a very similar concept to YouTube because it's something that requires content creators.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at that though. But if you go to YouTube and every 5 minutes there's an ad, basically e-begging. Not necessarily an ad like, "Hey, the new Ford Focus, check it out. Hey, you like Pizza Hut, right?" But more like, please, we need $5, just 1 cup of coffee,
Yeah.
The thing is that Google is pretty self-sufficient, and you'd almost need to have a big player like Facebook funding this entire enterprise. It's probably the only way you could do it.
Again, though, if PewDiePie were more proactive, if he actually had reached out to Mark Zuckerberg and offered to launch Facebook videos, basically a video service to rival YouTube, something might have been done. But he's not doing anything. He's not going anywhere.
I don't know, in my eyes, PewDiePie kind of seems like a Katniss Everdeen type, someone who people want to be a martyr, but she doesn't want anything to do with it.
Mm-hmm. And also, like her, PewDiePie doesn't have a pair of balls.
I'm just thinking of like Ned Stark. It's like, "Hey Ned, go kick ass," and he's like, "I don't want to." "No, seriously, put your head on the block." I really don't want to do this, guys. Find someone else. I mean, it's always easy to point a finger at somebody else and say, "You be a martyr," but if I was pulling 15 million
See, here's the thing, though.
a year, I'd be like, "Suck my ass."
Here's the thing, though. Why make the video in the first place? Because if he had threatened to quit over some insignificant or asinine reason, like, "Oh, I don't know, bros, I just don't feel like I'm appreciated here," or something like that, no one would have paid attention to him, and I wouldn't have given a crap. But the little fucker actually brought up some very astute points in his video. So there was a glimmer of hope that maybe, just maybe, something can change.
Yeah, and that is
finally take a stand.
That is the question that we all have, is like, okay, well, if you're not going to delete your channel, what are you going to do about it?
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Well, he said at the end of his video where he said he was going to quit that he was going to talk to YouTube about these issues later. Did he? What was the result if he did? What did they say? You don't know. He hasn't said anything. He hasn't said if, he still thinks these issues are relevant and what he plans to do about it.
Wasn't there an article from the BBC where basically YouTube denied all the allegations that they had changed their algorithm?
Meanwhile, all the stats suggest differently.
Uh-huh.
Just like that MatPat article that Natalie found showed. YouTube is moving from favoring views to favoring how much time you spend on a channel to moving to wanting people who do like daily content.
Well, they probably just don't want to admit it because it's basically them. If they do admit it, it's them admitting that they're fucking over the individual creators. And if they're fucking over the individual creators, they're going to leave.
Right.
As long as they dangle that glimmer of hope that they can still actually do well and turn a profit, they're going to keep using it.
Right, because if they do change their formula, if they do change their algorithm to favor channels that have daily content, like Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, all the rest of the late night shit, all the news outlets, all the basically the establishment.
Yeah.
The mainstream media. If they're changing their algorithms to favor the mainstream media, of course they're not going to be telling all the people who, use YouTube as either a hobby or as an actual, livelihood that they've done anything.
Yeah. And additionally, one thing that's worth pointing out is that the reason why Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Oliver, and the rest of the Jimmys out there, the reason why all of them can afford to release daily content is because they have an entire team of editors and video producers working on these videos, not 24/7, but nevertheless on a daily basis, so they can afford to release this stuff. Whereas if we're talking about some guy who's trying to do this as a hobby, Well, again, in that case, I know that you brought up the point that YouTube is a meritocracy, Matt, but I don't know. Not based on what I'm seeing right now.
Well, meritocracy in the way that, you know, people will find some... Merit is subjective, let's just say that, because people find something they like out of just about anybody. I mean, I like Red Letter Media, and if an outsider saw their video Space Cop, they'd be like, what the fuck is this shit?
No, I get that I get that point, but at the same time, don't forget that when it comes to the list of the top 10 most subscribed to YouTube channels,
Oh, yeah.
7 out of 10 of them are corporate content.
Yeah, I thought you were going to make your idiocracy joke.
Well, that also...
Which might actually be accurate.
Yeah, well, that and the fact that if we are to talk about meritocracy, personally, I think that stuff like Red Letter Media, or remember that guy Charlie from Charisma on Command? Mm-hmm. That's the kind of content that would be at the top because they're actually providing value to their viewers. Like, is Charlie doing this purely because he's an altruist? No, he's also running a business, but at the very least he helps people to improve their lives.
Right.
Whereas in the case of PewDiePie, Smosh, the reaction videos, it's the same shit over and over again. They're like drug dealers. And the drug of choice is just mindless entertainment that keeps you in a rut.
Well, so basically YouTube is a pure democracy where...
Two wolves and a sheep. Yeah.
Well, but no, basically where stupid people can vote for stupid things.
Mm-hmm, pretty much.
Freedom! I think right now it's definitely turning into an oligarchy where if YouTube has changed their algorithm, they are favoring people or groups or entities that have the money to have like daily content. I mean, when you have a late night show like Jimmy fucking Fallon, the lamest motherfucker, who can put his face on the cover of Wired and Popular Mechanic and can shovel out edited snippets of his show on YouTube 3 times a day. Mm-hmm. There's no way someone like PewDiePie could even compete with that level of production.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in fact, you know, that's actually what drives a lot of YouTube creators into the fucking ground is a lot of people can't do daily shit. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, we had our segment of, you know, kind of just wanting to try some new stuff, just kind of take a little bit of a break from the podcast and stuff, and now we're back because we're rested and tanned. But, you know, other people who are like vloggers, I mean, they get burned out. PewDiePie even got fucking burned out on doing his own vlog. So if that's the way YouTube is skewing the results, where it's, you know, the channels that can provide 3 videos in a day, well, fuck me, what the hell is a guy supposed to do?
Create an alternative. AltTube.
Yes. AltTube. But again, you need the investment. I mean, if all these people want to, you know, purchase server space and see where it goes, and, you know, maybe they can get some grants or maybe they can pool their own money into it, maybe, but you can't keep those types of servers running 24/7 if you don't have the money to do it. So.
Well, even before we talk about financial investment, we just need a guy to rally the troops. A phase, basically a general at the front of the army. We need someone who's got like a revolutionary fire inside of them.
Well, we need a face of the revolution. We need a William Wallace. We need a Che Guevara. I mean,
basically, we need a Tyler Durden, not pajama boy, leading us into battle.
Pretty much. Yep, a Tyler Durden, someone who wants to bring it all down. But and again, I mean, it's just diversifying content. PewDiePie, if all he did was just say, "Hey, guess what, bros? I'm migrating all my videos over to Vimeo, for instance." Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, follow my lead, copy your stuff down there. Let's create some competition for YouTube. Let's give Vimeo some love.
Yeah, but does Vimeo pay its content creators?
Yeah, I know. I'm using Vimeo as an example. There's got to be other outlets out there that are doing this, especially if YouTubers are making more money on like Patreon and stuff like that. Because Max, the article that you found regarding the future of YouTube explicitly said that YouTube is planning to clamp down on all of these like external advertisements. Like, you know, at the end of your video, you're like, oh, by the way, check out MeUndies or Dollar Shave Club or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. Aren't they planning on clamping down on that in the near future? And if YouTubers are making more money on Patreon than YouTube, what are you gonna do, man? Maybe if we get 50 million subscribers, we'll quit YouTube. How about that? You'll never see our asses again. In fact, you know what? If we get 50 million subscribers on YouTube, I won't ever touch technology ever again. I'll just like go live in the mountains as like a hermit or something. People could like fly drones and make sure I'm not touching shit.
Yeah, we'll lose all the $5 we get a month from YouTube.
Yeah, no shit.